OpenTrack tracks items in your video based on, well, what you want it to track. The easiest way to do this is by having planned ahead of time and putting some sort of marker on the object you want to follow. So in this case, we are following a collision cart. It will bang into the other one and that cart will move. So what you want to do is you want to identify specifically what you want to track. We call these things markers. So here, to add a marker, all you do is you click. You need to name the marker. You should not start your name with a number. So let's call this one left. I tend to leave spaces out of the names. That's generally good practice. You can assign masses to your markers. So this one is 0.506 kilograms. And these are pixel positions. You can pretty much ignore them. Alright, so now you see I've added a marker. That one has a red color. If I need to edit that marker, I can click here and I can edit it if I need to. Generally better just to choose your markers wisely. Okay, second marker, let's call that one right. It's actually exactly the same mass. Let's make it blue of some sort. Alright, so those are real markers. And so what will happen is when OpenTrack tracks them, you can do it manually or automatically, but if you do automatic tracking, OpenTrack will only worry about the real markers. It won't worry about any other kind of marker. So for example, I could add a static marker. Now there might not be a real reason for me to do this, but let me do it anyhow. I'll go over here and I'll call it static left. It doesn't have a mass. Let's give it a color though. And let's check off that static box. So OpenTrack won't track it, but it's a marker that we can refer to later. And we can create linkages, that is a segment joining this marker to some other marker if we need to. We're going to use it later on to define an x-axis. So let's click there. And if we have that marker there, if we want an x-axis, let's click in the middle here. Let's call that static right. We will make that some other unique color. How about green? We'll click static, and there it is. Okay, so if we needed to, later on we could define an axis along those two markers, and we could use that axis to refer to any of the other markers, what angles, if there was a slope, and of course all of that is dependent on how accurately you mark the image. There's one other type of marker that you need to know about, and that's called a virtual marker. So a virtual marker is a combination of other markers. How is that possible? Let's look. So when I click Add Virtual, it can be a combination of real markers, static markers. So over here, mouse over. Oops, let's mouse over here. Static markers, real markers, and then if virtual markers exist, you could choose them as well. So as with everything else, you give it a name. So this is, for example, center of mass. We're going to include the left and right markers. We could include all the markers we wanted to. And I'm going to click Use Mass Sum. That's for some more advanced usages. For example, if you want to find the center of mass of a body and you know the center of mass of its individual segments, that can be a very useful way to go about doing things. So a virtual marker can have a mass, but it doesn't need to. So then I'll click OK, and there it is. So it sits in between those two. It is automatically figured out where it is. Now, if the right marker or the left marker had not had a mass, this would be in the geometric center. If the left and right markers have masses, the virtual marker shows up in the center of mass. There's a center of mass calculation. Let's add a couple other virtual markers just for giggles. So I'll click here. Notice that now my center of mass marker shows up. I could, if I wanted to, I don't know what reason I do this for, but I could create a virtual marker that is a combination of my center of mass and my static left. If I don't assign a mass, basically it's given a mass of 0. We'll go over here, give it a purple color, maybe something brighter so you can see it, maybe yellow, and go there. Haven't specified a marker name. It gives you warnings. That's nice. So let's call it Virtual2. Okay. And there it is. It's halfway in between those guys. And so I could do this till the cows come home, and I can use as many markers as I want in creating a virtual marker.